What is going on, guys? Today we are going to be putting on the rear sets, but first I gotta get some Loctite, and then I'm also gonna grab a snack because I just got done doing a little back day with Aiden. So I will catch you guys. You know what? I don't know where. We'll see where I end up. Little rainbow. Yeah. All right, just got out of Chipotle. Picked up the where is it? Loctite. Got myself a little lunch right here. I don't know if you guys know this, because I'm doing follow the gym content. You see that I'm bulking right now, but if you guys go to Chipotle, you get a double carnitas, double white rice, double beans, basically a double everything. Shit's like 1,000 something calories for $15, bro. It's a cheat code. But I'm gonna go eat this, and then I'll see you guys when we start the process with the reset. Alright, so I made it back to my humble abode. Only thing now is gotta move this thing out of the way. Now that we've got the Mercedes moved out of the way, we can get to this. But before we get these opened and I show you what's in there, I'm gonna eat my Chipotle because I'm a hungry mofo. Okay, I gotta pause this because whoever works at this Chipotle filled this the fuck up, bro. Props to them. They give me like to the brim with everything, dude. Shout out to you. Alright, now that I'm done eating, we can get back to the main course. That's the rear sets. Back to my bootleg table again. But look at these, dude. Look at that. You get the 2 stickers, which is awesome. Oh, look at that. Focus. For racing use only. Now these are just the standard rear sets from Woodcraft for the, I think it's the 2013 or whatever. I'll correct it right here. But it's the 2013 through 2018 Zixxers. These are made out of billet aluminum. And the reason I got the Loctite is because I really don't want these coming out. And for once, I actually read the important notice. Oh, I'm actually stupid. It says it right here. So yeah, this is the one with the brake pedal. It also is not the folding toe pieces because I didn't see the point. But this is also a standard or GP, so we're gonna be switching it to GP because GP is just cooler. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, enough of me yapping. Let's get to the actual install. So first, we're gonna start by removing these 2 bolts, which is going to be a 6mm Allen key. And after those 2 are removed, that gets rid of the little heel guard here. Then remove these 2. That also disconnects from the master cylinder here, which is important because I don't really want to rip that off my bike. That would suck, kind of like my rear brakes. But yeah, after those 2, it's onto these 2 bolts. Alright, now when you take those 2 bolts out, it'll free this part of the rear set. Also, if you have one of these shorty pieces here, it'll drop that down from the back. And then you also get this little piece that comes off as well, which are secured back here. Now, once this comes free, exposes, I believe this is the brake light switch. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I'll put it right here if I'm right or wrong. But you want to keep this spring, and then be careful when removing this because you'll lose well, your rear brake light. Alright, and now after undoing what felt like the longest screw ever, or bolt, you now are free from the old rear sets. And if you take a look, yeah, those are donezo. I almost forgot. You also want to remove this back bolt here, and then you also have a cotter pin that secures your brake lever to the master cylinder. Easiest trick for these, just use needle knives. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate it. Just bend them back, pull them out, put it back, bend them down. Now, technically, you're supposed to get new ones. I'm cheap. I didn't buy new ones. Oh, god damn. Holy shit. Alright, we're gonna do master cylinder first, because that bitch is on there. And I don't got that strength to be doing that right now. I also can't find my needle nose, so regular pliers. Finally, jeez. Anyways, get the cotter pin out. Push this through, like that. And voila. Now, to get this off, obviously, if this is connected to the reset still, a little bit easier. But I'm very unlucky, so I've got to revert to some caveman techniques. Ugh. Wow. They are not kidding when they say, what is that, semi-permanent on this Loctite? No, permanent on the Loctite. Had me rocking back and forth. But now that we broke that Loctite loose, it's easy. Wow, look at that, dude. Shit's just clean snapped. So I had to make a quick pit stop. A quick pit stop. Got some grease. Let me flip the camera. Picked up some grease. Just water resistant, you know, your average automotive grease. And I got some gloves because I don't want to be greasy. All right, it's not very swag. Off camera, I also assembled the brake lever, which I did not put Loctite yet on this front peg because I want to actually get it on there and adjust it as needed. I might not even Loctite it because I think it'll be fine. However, these definitely got some Loctite. Gave it some of that beautiful red 40 deliciousness. Because personally, I don't want this to just fly off when I'm on the freeway or something like that. Also picked up the grease because this pin right here needs to be greased up. Otherwise, it's going to bind here, and then this brake lever will no longer break. It'll just kind of sit there, be more aesthetic. You heard me right. We're going to oil it up. Okay, now that we've got the grease, I'm going to take this pin here, which inserts into the back of the brake lever, just like that. I'm going to take this, we're going to take good, probably not this much, a little bit less. I'd go about that much. We're just going to apply that all the way around this pin. Make sure that we get kind of a good coating. Once you've got this all oiled up and ready to go, I'm going to slide that right into the back. It's going to fucking goop everywhere. That's fine. Then make sure you have this washer. It's very important you have this. Put that on the other side, which is going to be in between right here. You're going to put that in between the back of the actual bracket and the front of this brake lever. Then going ahead and line that up there. It's only going to fit one way, so, you know, can't really fuck this up. And then on the other side, you're going to get this flush bolt here. And you're going to go ahead and hand tighten this down. Now, I've gone ahead and gotten this as hand tight as I possibly can. And I'm going to flip it around here. Get these little shop towels with me. But I'm going to actually wipe this down so that there's not just grease all over the set. And I'm going to continue to tighten it from this fat-ass flathead on the back side with my thumbnail here. Okay, now I've got that as tight as I can get comfortably with my hands. And wiggle it around a little bit. Make sure it doesn't stick. You also want to get that grease moving around in there. Alright, now I've gone ahead and made sure that these were pretty tight and that everything is working properly. I put the rear peg on, and for these, both the toe peg and then the actual foot peg here, I would recommend only going hand tight until you can actually sit on the bike and put your feet on it. Because if you see here, these are adjustable. And that goes for both. So make sure you've got this exactly where you want it before you Loctite or, you put these as tight as possible. Because if you get them wrong, it's going to be mad uncomfortable, and then you're going to regret it later. But now we are on to attaching this piece right here on the back, which is where the heel guard goes. And for these bolts, it's going to be a 5/32, which is also the same as this one, like these two right here, and this one as well. This one on the back is a 6mm, so just make sure you've got those beforehand. But for these, because I don't want this going anywhere, I'm going to apply a little bit of Loctite. Now, it does say to use the blue. I'm personally going to use the blue on the toe pieces and the rear peg, because those are adjustable, and the blue Loctite you can remove. But red, like I'm using here, and you really don't need that much. That's honestly like a good amount. That might even be a little bit too much. But the red is considered permanent, and that's why I'm using it for the pieces that I don't want to come off. Because, yeah, I don't want them to come off. And if you guys noticed when I was taking off the rear sets, that rear bolt, like the very last one I took off, that was actually kind of a pain in the ass, was covered in this stuff. And my struggle wasn't because it was, a hard bolt to take off, but because this shit really does what it says. And it kind of is a permanent seal, or a thread lock. But what I'm going to do here is hand tighten these down just as far as I can, making sure that I'm applying the thread locker beforehand, and make sure that your threads are clean and that your actual bolt hole is clean before you do that, because you can actually seat improperly, or make the thread locker not work as well. God damn. But yeah, after that hand tightening, just going back through with the ratchet and getting them to what I believe feels about right. Now, I highly recommend you pay attention to the instructions, or even pull up your dealer specs, because there are specifications for this. I'm sure if you go to forums, or if you even just go into your owner's manual, you can find your bike specific torques, what is it called? Your torque what am I trying to say? Your factory torque specs. Wow. But anyways, definitely follow those. I have been kind of tinkering with cars and other various things for a few years now, so I kind of know what feels tight and what, is going to come loose. That being said, do as I say, not as I do. Also, make sure that you put the lid back on this, and honestly, I would wipe it before you put that lid back on, because I have had these seal up on me before, and if you don't put the lid back on these, they will completely dry out, and then there goes about $8. Yes, $8 for this little tiny fucking tube. And now is for the fun part, going ahead and just kind of reverse everything that you just did. So we're gonna line this up here, and it says on their website that this is not compatible with these shorty slip-ons, but I'm gonna just hope that it is, and we're gonna try to jimmy rig this. So I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, now I've skipped through a lot, but got it on here now. It's mounted. It does, in fact, do the braking thing that it's supposed to do. Sadly, it is not going to fit the exhaust on here. So, well, it's a win-loss. So we got to get a new exhaust. But let me show you guys how much more aggressive these are. I've got this set up to be a lot higher up and back because I want that kind of more aggressive feel. And it kind of pushes my leg further up into the tank. But obviously I can't get fully into it because my left leg won't go up. But I mean, this is monumentally better, especially grip-wise. My old one was. And this is comfortable too. Really excited actually about these. But I mean, I am trying to push my foot off of this and I just can't. So, I also decided to put the factory heel guard on here. Since we have to get a new exhaust, we might as well upgrade that as well. I might do some carbon, something like that, and make it look a little prettier. But yeah, overall, I'm excited about these. And now I can actually tighten these down. So, see you guys after I do that. Alright, so now, this is, god damn, that is sharp. These are all tightened down. Nothing here is going to come loose, and it is all functioning. So, it's on to the other side. Okay, I lied a little bit. I forgot that I have to build them. So I'm going to build them, and then I'll be right back. Before I go and start assembling the new rear set, I figured it's probably important to mention these Woodcraft, sorry, not these are the OEM ones, but these ones tend to use a lot of OEM parts. Now, they state that on the website, but make sure that you use all of the bolts that you are missing. For example, you're going to need this pin here and this pin here. And there's a couple other bolts and, random little OEM parts that you have to use for the new rear sets. I only mention that because my dumbass got here and I started putting this together like this, right? And then I started looking at the instructions online and I was like, well, shit, where's that sliding pin? It's on the bike. It's important to note when you get to your OEM shift lever that this bolt is actually a Torx bolt, and that is going to be a T40. So make sure that you have one of these handy, otherwise you will strip the fuck out of that and not be able to remove it. You're also going to encounter these nuts on your shift rod, and those are going to be 10mm. It's important that when you are using OEM parts like this pin, for example, anything that's going to be moving and that you are reusing, you should be cleaning. Now, I'm just going to use some brake clean because this shit takes everything off of anything. And I'm simply just going to take that bolt or pin, spray it a little bit, and then I'm just going to take a shop rag and I'm going to wipe it clean, making sure that I have all of the old grease and anything else that is on this off of it before I reapply and reuse it. It's very important that you take care of these and make sure that they are clean before using them again, because just like I was mentioning earlier, you don't want it to seize up, you don't want it to bind, and you definitely don't want anything to fall out. I am now once again going to be greasing the pin before it goes in. That rhymed. Make sure that you're putting the right washer on the right part. See how this one is a bit smaller than this one here? You want to make sure that smaller one goes on that bottom bolt here, or bottom portion where the bolt will be. And then you want to have this wider one, otherwise this pin will not fit. Now, when it comes to greasing, it's going to be the same as earlier. You're going to open up your grease. You're going to get just enough. You know, maybe a little bit more than that, actually. Yeah. About, you know, that much. And we're going to be pretty... What's the word? I can't think of the word. I'll put it in subtitles. But we're going to make sure this gets everywhere. Especially on this side. Because this is the shift lever side. And you definitely don't want this binding when you're trying to go in between gears. Now I'm going to wipe my other finger off so that I can have kind of a dry hand and a wet hand, almost as if, you know, you're frying chicken or something like that. But you're going to take this. Oh, I keep dropping it. It's all slippery. But, you know, line it up. Drop it into place here. It's probably going to goop on you. I would kind of move it around, you know, make sure it kind of slides a little bit. You know, maybe give it a couple twists. Really get that grease in there. I didn't do this on the other one because it, you know, the grease really fit in there a lot better. Because I had the little crevice. But with this one, I'm going to really make sure that it's in there. After that, go ahead and line it up. And make sure that you just start hand tight. A big mistake that a lot of people make is going straight to hand tools, or even if they're kind of crazy power tools. And what I'm going to do is disconnect the T40 that I previously mentioned, which is that Torx bit, and just hand tighten this on here. Again, making sure that it lines up and that nothing is binding and that it's all good and well. And look at that. Perfect. Okay, now we are going to be installing the foot peg piece. And this comes with 2 different sized screws. It is very important that you don't mix these up. One is obviously longer and one is obviously shorter. It's kind of like you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. If you look here, you can see this little step thing. Make sure to put the shorter bolt in this bottom hole, which is going to be this lower part of the step. And the longer bolt is going to go in that top hole there, which is going to be this longer part of the step. These are going to be that 5/32 hex bit. And we are going to, again, be using our red Loctite, or as I like to call it, our red 40. I'm going to be installing the longer one first, because I feel like that's going to line up a little bit better. But we're just going to take a little bit of that Loctite there. It's not that much. I'm going to take that. We're going to line this bracket up. We're just going to drop it in place right there. Then using our socket, we are going to just, again, hand tighten these down. Now, don't rush yourself when it comes to the Loctite. This one specifically takes a minimum of 10 minutes to harden. It's a full 24-hour cure time for it to be, you know, completely sealed in there and make that kind of concrete, almost JB Weld-esque seal. So don't rush too much. Making sure not to cross through anything on your way down. And then before you walk away from it, make sure everything sits flush, everything is in place, and nothing looks off. It's gonna really suck if you put that Loctite on there and it's hardened and you fucked up, because I've done it before. Now I went around this little pin here and I cleaned up some of the grease so it's not all slimy and all that. And I also went ahead and tightened these down with a ratchet. Now when it comes to lining up your toe pegs and your foot peg, make sure that you put them at the same position. And what I mean by that is go to your, you know, your other rear set, right? And look at how you lined this up. See, for example, you've got these 3 dots showing here on this one, and for this one, you can barely see this dot and this dot while that one's available. It's important to make sure these are lined up, because if you don't line them up properly, you're going to have one foot that's like this, and your other foot's going to be like this, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this. But basically, just take a picture of it, you know, maybe mark it or something like that, and just make sure these line up the same way, because you will definitely be annoyed if you do this and then hop on your bike and it feels weird. It's also why I suggest that you put these on hand tight at first, because these are adjustable. And actually, let me show you that. If I was to put this little alignment peg in this top hole, which is how I have it set up on my other one, it sits up here a lot higher, a lot further back. I believe it's right here that it lines up. Yeah, so it sits about here. Now if I put that down here and I line this up, it sits a lot lower, a lot closer towards the front. So that's why it's important to make sure you're putting these in the same spots, because if you're not, your feet are going to be in completely different positions and it's going to mess something up. You're just you're not going to have a fun time. It's not going to be comfortable. Now this is where things are going to get a little bit complicated. So in order to put this on, right, it just pops up. But you might be noticing this is just limp. Well, that's because we're missing a shift rod. And because I'm going to be flipping this into GP, which is down to go up and up to go down, I actually need to flip this upside down. Now what I mean by that is, quite literally, I'm going to take the front of my, what is this, shift rod, right, like where it connects to the transmission, and I'm literally going to flip this 180 degrees. And it's as simple as loosening this, flipping it over. Now the important and the tricky part about this is making sure that it's exactly 180 degrees. Obviously, I'm sure there's a little bit of play that you can have there, but if it's off a little bit too much, it could either stick in gear or not shift properly. So what I'm going to do to make sure this goes exactly 180 degrees is take a pen. You can use a marker or anything like that. But I'm going to line it up exactly with this line here. And you see how there's kind of a little, I mean, obviously the pen didn't mark on there, so let me grab a marker. But there's a little tiny dot, and that's exactly where this lines up. It's where your top is. You're going to take that dot, it should be right under this line, and line it up with dead center of this. Now this is where it gets tricky on switching this to GP. So you can see now this is 180 degrees. It's lined up with that dot and with the little crack here. And if you go to put that bolt back in, it's not going to fit right. So what you're going to do is you're going to push this shifter forward. Just tilt it forward, slide the bolt in, let it go. Now that you've got that on there, you're going to take your shift rod, which is included in there. It's an extended shift rod. And you're going to take this out of the packaging and probably read this. So I'm going to come back and show you guys some more tricks once I've done that myself. Okay, now that this is installed properly, I've got them on there pretty tight. I'll tighten them down once everything else is set up. I'm going to go ahead and take, oh, this is actually the old one, the new shift rod. We're going to install this end first, which I think it might be reversed. Yeah, it is reverse threaded. That's right, because it's upside down. And you're going to want to remove this piece first. To remove this piece from the bottom part of your foot peg here, all you're going to need is that 5/32 socket and then a 10mm open wrench or box wrench, you know, whatever you want to call it. Combination wrench. So you can hook onto the back and get this bolt. Get this nut and then this little washer. Make sure that you move the nuts that are already on there so that you can tighten this down as much as you need. And then these are actually adjustments, so you can bring this in further, out further, and, you know, place this lever really wherever you want it to be. And so for me, I think that I'm going to want it about there. And just like that, I've got it all put together. It's got enough play both directions. Doesn't make any weird sounds. Everything's connected right. Everything works. Now, unfortunately, on this side, I did attempt to put this back on afterwards, see if, you know, I was just being stupid. But they're right. It does not work. So what does that mean for me? Well, that means for me, I'd spend more money on exhaust. But for you guys, you get another tutorial video, and you'll get to see, I guess, now a full-blown build on this bike. Was not expecting to do that this early, but shit, when life gives you lemons, or in this case, when you can't see curbs, you get to build a bike. Anyways, guys, I hope this was a helpful video for you. If there's anything I could further explain, or if you know you need some more tips or an extra video or something like that, please leave a comment down below. I'm more than willing to send you a picture of my manual, or even go further into depth on, you know, piecing together everything on this. One thing to note, actually, on this side that I didn't mention is I actually didn't have a spot to hook up my brake light, so I just left it there. I don't really need it personally. This brake light still works, but yeah, all in all, pretty easy install. It looks great. I'm excited to test these out once my leg is healed up and I can actually use them. I will say the full tuck position is a lot more aggressive now, which I love. I also like having my feet a little higher up. So I think we're gonna slowly turn this thing into a canyon monster, something like that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I kind of want to do a more in-depth install and tutorial kind of, because I could not find anything for it when I was looking it up. And so I feel like this could be helpful to anybody, especially people with a 2015 or 2012 to, I believe it's like 2019, 2018 ZX6R. So, I mean, it's going to be the same process, and I'm sure for other bikes it's about the same. So hopefully this helps somebody out there. I know I was looking for help. Should have fairings coming in soon, and got an exhaust in mind, so keep a lookout for that. Anyways, wow, fuck, I've said that 6 times. I'm also going to do a video on replacing these, which, you know, I don't even know how the fuck to get that out of there. Stay tuned. I'm working on getting this back as soon as I can. Trust me, I want it back just as bad as you guys do. More, actually. I want this back really bad. But, you know, life is kind of a little bit more important than having fun on a sports bike right now. So, trying to get this back, but it's going to be a little bit, especially with the exhaust being, you know, needed now, and then waiting for the fairings to get here. It's going to be good. You guys are going to like it. It's a little simple, a little plain, but I've got something coming after that, and that's really where it's going to pop off. And I think that's where this bike is going to truly shine and, you know, not be all musty. Leave a comment down below what you guys think the color is going to be, or the exhaust, or what you guys want it to be. And honestly, I'll put a poll up here on my Instagram for you guys to vote for colors or exhausts, etc., etc., etc. I can't guarantee I'm going to do it. I still have a very specific vision in mind, but I'm open to see what you guys want, and I'm willing to do pretty much anything for you guys to enjoy this bike as much as I do. I'm also in the process of designing some stickers. Put those on your windscreen, put it on your swing arm, or even your water bottle at the gym. I know that's where I'm going to put mine, definitely on my water bottle. But keep an eye out for that, and keep an eye out for more gym stuff. I've got a couple more videos that I'm working on there. But, you know, after all that, just make sure you're having fun. Make sure you're enjoying life. Catch you guys.